Hi, my name is Marcio Teixeira. Welcome to Zion Language. Today I'm talking about Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. I don't know who will watch this video, and I'm not inclined to try to convince you of anything. I don't know your background. I don't know how much you know about the Bible, or if you don't know about the Bible, maybe you are searching for answers. Maybe you're questioning yourself. I really don't know. Genesis 1:1 is the very first verse of the Bible, and it doesn't care about my opinion or your opinion. Actually, the author Moses simply points out a fact. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So there's no room for doubt. There's no discussion about the author of the universe is the active agent at creation. And if there's a God behind creation, he obviously existed before the creation. So before the first sunrise ever painted the horizon, a voice older than light whispered purpose into absolute silence. That same ancient breath calls us now away from noise into the silence where eternity speaks. So I invite you to open your heart and imagine the creator of the universe thinking about the whole cosmos, but mainly thinking about you and saying, before you existed, I already loved you. And as we read in Jeremiah 31:3, I have loved you, my people, with an everlasting love. With unfailing love, I have drawn you to myself. But now, do this. Remove the word Israel and add your own name there. How would that read? How would you read that back to you? The same power that shaped galaxies spoke about you when you were not even the shadow of an existence. Can you imagine that? And as we gaze into the first line of God's revealed word, the first statement of the Bible, we see that it removes any shadow of doubt from searching heart, from anybody trying to discover what is it about. So the Bible unveils our understanding with one simple truth. God is the creator. Period. Not an explosion, not evolution, not some mystical energy, not a feeling. Science debates with itself trying to disprove that. But you and I, we can't explain it. We can only experience it. Well, you may question the authority of the text. A guy named Moses, who is this guy? Well, I kind of understand that if you don't really never read the Bible, but Moses was a prince in Egypt serving side by side with Pharaoh. And you probably know the story, saw the movies, and etc. etc. But after confronting Pharaoh's tyranny and crossing the Red Sea, he gathered a wandering nation beneath starlit tents. There, in the hush of Sinai, he received divine syllables that stitched heaven to a tablet. God came down and wrote on a tablet with his own finger. There, God narrated the Torah. Can you imagine the dialogue between the Creator and Moses? Just imagine that. Moses, here's how it happened. In the beginning, I, God, created the heavens and the earth. Write it down, Moses. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Later in the Bible, we read the story of Job, a man who lost everything, suffered deeply, and dared to question God. And haven't we all had our whys in life? But in that sacred conversation, God asked Job, Job, where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? And God goes on and on revealing everything he did before creation. So even before Moses' writings, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, God already existed. And just this thought explodes my mind when I read John 1:1. In the beginning, the Word already existed. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. He existed in the beginning with God. God created everything through him, and nothing was created except through him. So the Word gave life to everything that was created, and his life brought light to everyone. So he's personifying the word. And then we go back to Genesis 1:1 just to find a hidden Hebrew signature, Alef and Tav. In the Hebrew of Genesis 1:1, there's a strange, untranslated and untranslatable word. And this word is et, made of two Hebrew letters, Aleph, the first letter of the alphabet, and Tav, the last letter of the alphabet. So this word et has no direct meaning in English. It functions not only as a grammatical marker, but also points to something or someone. In Revelation 1:18, Jesus declares to John, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. Now remember, Revelation was written in Greek, not in Hebrew. So technically, Jesus would have said Alpha and Omega, right? But if he were speaking Hebrew to John, he would have said, I am the Aleph and the Tav. Understand that? So that's what Jesus would have said in Hebrew, not in Greek. And now, here's the mystery. Those same letters, Aleph and Tav, appears silently in Genesis 1:1, right after the word God and before the verb created, as if Jesus stands between God and creation. Can you see that? It's a silent message. Jesus is there before anything began, unspoken but present. The silent word, the divine fingerprint. So how could Moses write down those two letters that had no translatable purpose? Tell me, why? The reason is very simple. God dictated the text to Moses. The only way, as if God said, Moses, here's the deal, my friend. Add my son right there after me and before creation so people will know he was there. And later down the road in the Bible, Jesus, the Son himself, prays something very interesting at the Garden of Gethsemane. Father, glorify me in your presence with the glory I had with you before the world began. So Jesus he's not just in Revelation. Jesus was in Genesis 1:1 hiding in plain sight, and God made sure that Moses would register. So in the beginning, God, Alef Tav, created. Just 4 words. And these words, very few, one sentence, they destroy every illusion of randomness. They confront the myth that life is just an accidental spark in a cosmic void. Your story did not begin in a hospital room or a registry office. Let me tell you, it was drafted in God's eternal. So God thought about your existence before you ever drew breath. And at that time, he already loved you. So when God steps onto that black canvas that science calls nothing, purpose follows his voice like dawn chasing night. The heavens declare his glory. But here on earth, in your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and so on, in your loneliness, your routine, your heartbreak, you and I, we have the opportunity to close our eyes in the quiet of a room and call for his presence. Yes, the God that created the universe. And somehow, I don't know how, he hears. I truly don't know how it works, but I believe he pauses the management of the galaxies to listen to the whisper of a messy, fragile heart like mine, like yours. And he says to you and to me, I am the one who knows it all. Trust me, I created the beginning when there was no tomorrow. Don't you think I can handle your situation? So it's so amazing to serve this God. I guess that's what the crowds felt at Jesus' feet. So that wondering heart. Because creation is not a past event. It's a current reality upheld by the nail-pierced hands of Jesus. How do I know? Very simple. Revelation 21 verse 5 says, I am making all things new. So the God of beginnings is also the God of new beginnings. The Aleph who promised the Tav. If he author your first dawn, he will author your final chapter. So don't let the worries of this world steal the truth of who God is. Don't let this word that I'm sharing with you fall on a rocky ground. Until we meet again, may the same voice that called galaxies to existence ordain peace over your circumstances. And may your soul forever echoes his first decree. Let there be light and let life overflow. So, with this very first verse of the Bible, how do I foresee my tomorrow? You know, there's a beautiful song that says, because he lives, because Jesus is real, yes, I can face tomorrow. And may our tomorrow be entrusted into the hands of the one that existed before the tomorrows and know what tomorrow lies ahead. All right, God bless you. See you next time. Don't forget to subscribe this channel, leave your commentary, and share this video with your friends. And God bless you. See you next time.